Hello and welcome to Fight Day Focus. We are the last word before the fights, before the great UFC 294. I'm John Gooden, delighted to be joined by top featherweight Lerone Murphy. Yeah! And in between us, see what I did there, is the friend of the show, Blake Harrison. Gentlemen, what a week, 10 days it's been, probably more so for the protagonists that we're going to be talking about. But we got ourselves some fights, some big ones. We're going to be talking the co-main, the main as well. But Blake, when we were planning this show, we probably weren't thinking we were going to be talking about all of the men that we are today.
No.
If anyone could get it done, the UFC can get it done. And we've got two belter fights in the main events.
Mate, I mean, no one else can do it like this. I mean, I don't think there's a situation in boxing where you're going to go, oh, you know, Deontay Wilder is fighting Anthony Joshua. Oh, Joshua's out. Let's call Usyk up or call Fury up. It doesn't happen. The UFC is where this stuff happens. You know, the number 2 pound for pound guy in the world, featherweight champion, on 11 days' notice has gone, yeah, I'll take on Makhachev. No worries, mate. I'll just fly over and do that. You don't get it in other sports. It's absolutely crazy. And I mean, you have to give props to Makhachev as well. It's a different style of fighter and all that stuff. But Volk, man, what a legend coming in on 11 days' notice. And same for Usman saving that co-main event as well. I mean, phenomenal stuff.
Lerone, Volkanovski is like the head boy. He's the king of your division, of course. Yeah. Took one phone call from Dana. Are you surprised that he turned around?
I'm not surprised at all. Like you said, he's the GOAT of featherweight. He's a great fighter, and he's fought Makhachev before. He's fought him before, and he believes he can beat him. So he can't miss that opportunity to become double champ. So he's here. What
do you think of that first match?
Yeah, I mean, well,
great, one of the best fights of the year. Yeah.
We could be ending this year with the 2 best fights of the year being Islam and Volk in both the top 2 fights.
Yeah.
I started to come round to the idea of Oliveira Makhachev too, but when it was initially announced, I wasn't as interested, because you look at how that fight went, and then you compare that to how the Volkanovski Makhachev fight went.
Yeah.
One fight was obviously way more competitive than the other. Yeah. So yeah, I think we got a better fight.
Just on that, who did you have winning that first match back in February?
I did have Makhachev winning it.
Yeah, 3-2?
Yeah, I did. I did have Makhachev winning it 3-2. And I love Volk, so it slightly pains me to say it, but that's just the facts. But I mean, the interesting thing with this is, where is Volk in terms of, you know, has he been secretly training a little bit, getting that cardio up? Because you watch that first fight, and round 4, he makes a mistake. He's gesturing to Makhachev's corner saying, I'm getting up, and then it gives Makhachev the opportunity to get a hook in, get him down properly, and he's riding his back for the rest of that round, but not doing a huge amount of damage. And then round 5 was Volk's best round. He ends it on top, ground and pound, doing that special kind of Volk stuff. And you just go now, on 11 days' notice, will he have the cardio to maybe push Makhachev in the ways that we would like to see and get to that position again?
Is this a win-win for Volkanovski?
For sure. There's no. I think that's, as a fighter as well, when you go into a fight with no pressure on you, you're going to perform better, I think.
What about like legacy, Blake? Does that get affected? And maybe like, if he doesn't get it, is he going to get another chance?
Well, I think it's more that. I think where the downside is for Volk is that he's decided to take this opportunity on 11 days' notice. And had he said no and then gone and beat Topuria in January, which I think that was alluding to being scheduled for, not officially announced, I don't think, then he could have, you know, campaigned to get a rematch with Makhachev and get him on a full camp and go up and try again. So that is the only downside to me, is that he's thrown all his eggs into this basket. And if he loses to Makhachev again, and it's on 11 days' notice, so he very easily could do, then he's lost that chance to be a double champ maybe, because he's not getting any younger, Volk, either. The chances of him kind of moving up in weight and taking on these fighters is limited.
Makhachev is the guy that's always been involved in this main event. Do you feel like he's got the slightly rougher end of the deal in this?
Yeah, of course. I've fought a late replacement myself, and I've seen how it's difficult. Like, you're training for one guy, total different style, and then you get the next guy. So, like you said, it's all in Volkanovski's favour, win-win. And Makhachev's a beast as well. He's putting a lot on the line. He's fighting a guy that's smaller. He's supposed to win the fight.
Yeah. Is there anything that we should look into in terms of fighting in Abu Dhabi? You're like the king of Abu Dhabi, almost the outsider, but almost all of your fights are over there.
Yeah, for sure. I love Abu Dhabi. That's my place. I like to fight away. I like to feel the hostility that I felt. I feel like it pumps you up a bit more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think any fighter's at a disadvantage fighting home or away.
Okay. How similar or different do you think this fight will look?
Something's just telling me there's going to be a finish this time. It's either, obviously I can say it's going to go either way, but I think either Volk, KO or a submission from Islam. I think there's going to be a finish this time.
That's very interesting. How do you think it's going to look?
I would really love to know where Volk's cardio's at. Because I think that's such an integral
Well, he's had surgery recently,
and he's had surgery.
I mean, I know he's been sparring for, I think, 4 weeks, but still had surgery.
That's enough, though. That 4 weeks is enough for an elite level fighter. You never really lose that, but we are talking about a 5-round fight here. But Volk's one of them guys that naturally his cardio's next level, so I don't think that's going to be an issue.
When you think of the size difference and you think of the fact that he is coming in on 11 days' notice, you can't help but worry about that. I'm going to have to pick Volk because I can't look myself in the mirror if I don't.
Well, I'll come to definitive predictions a little bit later, but yeah, it's a big ask, and Makhachev has just been so very dominant. Yeah. Just before we move on to the co-main event, like, what does it do for guys like you, though? Because Volkanovski's the champion of the featherweight division, and that's not on the line. So that division is it stagnant?
Not really, because there's a lot of other fights that need to happen anyway. I think it's good for the featherweight division. Imagine the featherweight champ goes and beats the lightweight champ. Just shows how good the featherweight division is.
I like it.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, and I think he was talking about fighting Topuria early next year, and he's like, yeah, I'm down. Like, yeah, that'd be all right. Yeah. He was counting the months. 3 months. Yeah, I'm good to go.
That's it. He's so active, isn't he? He wants to fight 4 times a year. So yeah, imagine a world in which Volkanovski, on 11 days' notice, goes to Abu Dhabi, beats Islam Makhachev, and then 3 months later is defending his featherweight belt against Ilia Topuria. That would be mental.
Is he if he wins, if he becomes double champ, does he climb to pound for pound #1 status?
For me, yes. I understand the John Jones argument, but for me, yes.
What do you reckon, Lerone?
If he wouldn't have just said John Jones, I would have definitely said yeah, but I can't. I think John Jones.
Well, who knows? John Jones might be. I mean, I don't want him to, but he's thinking about maybe this might be the last one. Yeah. So if he's not in the picture, then that all of a sudden becomes a little bit more.
I think if Volk goes out and beats Islam, he's definitely the greatest featherweight of all time, for sure. And that's only just been creeping into my ideas like probably the last year or so. But if he goes out and wins that, then no doubt.
We've done a bit of talking on this. You guys at home can now hear from the 2 men in the main event. They both got to chat with our very own Megan.
Javier Mendez said something interesting. He said you're going to see an even better Islam. What does an even better Islam look like?
I'm working a lot on my ground pound, I'm working a lot in my wrestling, striking, and I believe my skills and I know I can beat everybody.
What do you expect from yourself in your own performance? How do you win?
I will try to finish him all rounds. It's not just say, but I will try to finish him.
What for you was the biggest lesson that you took away from that meeting in February?
I mean, like, I've always been confident and belief, but when you have tests like Islam in front of you, we all know how great his wrestling is and grappling and all that. But so I was always backing myself. But to go out there and feel it out and be like, oh wow, now I can really, really back myself. I plan on coming forward aggressively. Well, I have to. I can't. I can't afford to do anything else. So that makes me very dangerous. I get my hand raised and I get to put both belts on each shoulder, which is just going to be absolutely massive. What a gift, bringing 2 belts back home. So, again, the support from my family and everyone around me has been incredible. And not only I believe I deserve this, everyone around me deserve this, and my supporters deserve this. Round 6, let's go.
Round 6, guys.
Well, there you have it, the 2 men in the main event who will be getting it done tonight. If you couldn't get excited about this card, well, I don't know what's wrong with you. And it's about to get even more heated as we go down into the co-main event. Gentlemen, in the last 2 weeks, even more news broke. Paulo Costa, complications with his surgery. His arm is in all kinds of bother, needed further things. And then we had another gangster step up. Kamaru Usman has now stepped into the fray, up a weight class to take on Khamzat Chimaev. First thoughts from you when you heard the news?
Oh, it's an excellent fight again. I wanted to see it at welterweight, so even at 185 is like still a great fight. And seeing Khamzat in Thailand last year,
Okay.
and he looked massive. He looked like a heavyweight, and I was thinking, there's no way he's getting back down to 170. So I'd like to see him compete at 185. I think he's going to be a beast. I think he's going to be at home there.
Okay. I mean, I didn't see it coming when this was all unravelling. How about you?
No, not at all. I mean, I think actually the card's improved because of this. With all due respect to Paulo Costa, as much as I think the lead up to the fights probably would have been more entertaining with Costa and Chimaev at each other, I think the fight itself, man, Usman Chimaev is such a great fight. So this could very easily play out on the feet. And the last time that Chimaev couldn't really take someone down and had to play out on the feet was Gilbert Burns.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good fight.
Yes, it was.
So if we get something like that again, I think we could be in for an absolute cracker.
What are we going to see? Or what are you hoping to see out of it in terms of the exchanges, the ranges and up and down?
Well, with all my wealth of fight experience,
Which
John,
is why I asked you.
which is why I'm here, obviously, all those fights I've had. I think that, as I said, I think that Usman won't be mauled by Chimaev. If he is, wow, we've got a new king at 185 pounds, and his name is Khamzat Chimaev. The speed and the power might be in Chimaev's favour, but the technical strides that Kamaru's made with his striking under Trevor Whitman, I really think there's a world in which he can just move around a little bit, keep popping that jab out. And we saw what that jab did to Gilbert Burns. I think that put him down on the floor, just a jab. You know, he's a powerful guy, Kamaru. So, and again, without the weight cuts as well, there's going to be more durability there. They're going to be fresher. And also, I think what's really important is what's at stake. And I think the person who is going to be the most annoyed about this fight is poor old Dricus du Plessis, because the winner of this fight, especially if it's a finish, if it's a statement, even if it's just a fight of the year contender and it goes to a decision, the winner of this fight could easily leapfrog Dricus. And that's not necessarily right, but it's business.
Okay, Lerone, we've got to expect a little bit of wrestling in this one, but I really want you to break down how the wrestling exchanges will be seen between Chimaev and, of course, Usman.
It's just a classic America versus Dagestan wrestling.
Right.
Different styles, but Khamzat's just one of them guys that just keeps shooting. He's just got a different level of athlete. I think Khamzat's going to be stronger though. I just think the size difference.
He's a big boy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a big boy. I seen him and he looked like a heavyweight, so he must be cutting from 200 pounds.
Motivation for Usman, because things have obviously been a bit tricky for him with the work that went on with our very own Leon.
Yeah.
So as a fighter, you now get, is it almost a clean slate now? It's at 185, or is there risk again because you've tried something and if it doesn't work out, it's another project that you can't sort of look to?
It's always risk, I guess, but it's like it's a big risk, big reward in fighting Khamzat Chimaev. He's 12-0, 13-0, undefeated fighter. I think if Usman can go out and get the win there, he's right back up there. His name's getting talked about again. He can get a title shot at 185. Like it's high risk, high reward.
Yeah. Wonderful stuff.
I think that is the kind of question we've got over Usman, isn't it? Is it that, you know, he's only had 3 losses his whole career. One was really early on and the other 2 came back to back against Leon. Is Usman on the decline? Or was Leon just that good?
I think Leon's just that good.
Well, exactly.
Is Leon just that good?
Yeah, Leon's very good, yeah, definitely.
All we've been talking about today is like, I won't say the middle word, but champ stuff only, right? It's all just champs everywhere. Hasn't been a champion yet. Is he ready for this?
His big opportunity, he messed up the weight cut. Can he now really step up? Because, as you say, I think he wins this fight, particularly in good fashion. It's him v Strickland for the belt. I think he leapfrog Dricus, no problem.
And what about Adesanya? Does he leapfrog Adesanya?
Well, Dana did come out and say Izzy's next, but you know, Izzy's been very active for a long time. He might want the time off. I can see a world in which it's a lot of questions. There's a lot of dominoes have to fall, but I think we were saying middleweight has gone from being one of those divisions where you go, there's Izzy, and then it's a bit meh. I know that sounds a bit rude. Obviously, Robert Whittaker's amazing. I love Robert Whittaker, but I know.
How dare you?
But there was not a huge amount of excitement around that division once Whittaker lost and then lost again. Now we have Khamzat, Usman, Strickland is somehow the champion. There's so much excitement about that middleweight division now.
Yeah. 4 exciting fighters that we've got, but the 2 that we've been talking about in the co-main event got to speak with Megan O'Leary.
It seemed like to us, maybe this was a matchup, even before this was made, that had been on your mind. What do you like about facing a guy like Khamzat?
Stepping out there and knowing that I faced the biggest, baddest dudes during my era, and I was able to put them down. That's something that I think any man can relate to.
How much grappling do you actually foresee?
It depends, honestly. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of been just that fighter in the last, maybe 5 or 6 fights. I let the fight develop the way it does. I don't try to force anything or press anything, and I think those are the moments where you see the most beautiful form of martial arts. It's just letting it flow. And so if he wants to wrestle, we can wrestle. He wants to grapple, we can grapple. If he wants to stand and strike, we can throw our hands as well.
How much does this come down to who can implement their pace and pressure on the other?
I don't cutting weight that much anymore, so my conditionally unlimited. So I can't get tired in the fights, man. Just gonna go smash the guy.
As you said that, you had a pretty big smile about not having to cut as much weight. How much easier is life for you as a middleweight as opposed to at 170?
It's much easier, but a different weight class. I build my body up. Still tough. Always cutting weight is tough. So it's not that easy work.
Good luck to you. Have fun out there.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
We all want to see all of those 4 gentlemen fights. Cannot wait for it. Sensational stuff. But it is Abu Dhabi Showdown Fight Week, and McKenzie has been on the ground, seeing everything that's going on. Check this out. Let's see what she's been up to.
Well, we're here in Al Khateem Desert to enjoy Abu Dhabi Showdown Week and to celebrate UFC 294 in one of the best ways possible. We've got some special guests joining us in a little bit to ride some camels, do some dune bashing, and to enjoy one of the many things that Abu Dhabi has to offer.
That was fast, like a roller coaster, but it was work to get up there, but it was fun.
That was quite the experience.
It was fun.
Right. Yeah, it was good. Nice, peaceful.
The camel was cool. I've never rode a camel before. We did some dune bashing.
Trying to get up to the top with Justin.
Snowboarded?
Never snowboarded. I
was
did
impressive.
okay. It was all
Yeah,
right.
that was good.
My first time.
It was awesome. Abu Dhabi's been great.
Loads of fun for Abu Dhabi Showdown Fight Week. Gentlemen, thank you very much. But before we go, we've got to get predictions. Putting you on the spot, Lerone Murphy, for the main event, who are you going with?
I think I'm going to have to pick the safe bet and just go Makhachev.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, round or... You said finish, so I'm thinking...
Yeah, I feel bad picking the finish, so I feel like I'm downplaying Volk, but okay, I'll go 4th round submission.
Okay, I like it. Rear naked choke or...
Yes.
Interesting.
I'm a bit of a maverick. I'm going to not go for the safe option. I'm going for Volk on 11 days' notice. Come on, Volk.
How does he get it done?
Points. Decision.
Okay, all right, co-main event. Does Chimaev step up in the biggest fight of his career, or can Usman reignite his career?
I'm going to go with Chimaev by decision.
Okay.
I'm going to go Chimaev finish. I don't know how, but I think he might.
Do you know
finish
when?
Say round 2.
Oh, early. Stings him early.
I think he might do.
I like it. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, please, Lerone Murphy and Blake Harrison. Don't forget, folks, it all goes down tonight from Abu Dhabi UFC 294, TNT Sports in the UK. ESPN is where you'll get the pay-per-view. Thank you very much.
Two reigning UFC champions collide in a true super fight.
Islam Makhachev. This guy's so dominant.
Alexander Volkanovski
trying to take the lightweight belt.
Khamzat Chimaev
this kid is special. He's a ball of fire. When you let him go, he just destroys everything in his path. Kamaru Usman, he is one of the best of all time.